Welcome to the Manic Pixie Dream podcast. I'm your host, Caroline Georges, and welcome back. So this is my last video on this channel, and I just wanted to give you an update of what I'm up to, and also just to let you guys know about my new channel that I'm starting. It's just called Manic Pixie, and I'm working on it. Okay, give me time. I have a lot of things going on right now. I have a lot of fingers and pies. And so, anyways, I wanted to talk about the Bobby Lee situation. If you don't know, I went to the Comedy Store and I threw a fit after I learned of Bobby Lee's history with abusing children or abusing a child. I'm just at this point where I've just lost all faith in humanity. The amount of hatred and the amount of attacks that I've gotten for doing that, for doing what we all should have done when that story came out the first time. We should have all stood up and done that and just carried Bobby Lee out of the wherever he was performing and just beat him in the streets and left him there. But that's just me. That's my idea of what we do to pedophiles when they gloat about their pedophilia. But moving on. Anyways, so I did it. It was like that night. So what happened was I was already planning the following Saturday night. I was planning on going to Brian Callen's show and canceling Brian Callen. Or try to, just honestly, I just want to go and just, honestly, affect the audience. How can you support, Brian Callen's a rapist. He's a comic, and he's a rapist. And so he's been accused. And there's still other victims that haven't come forward because they're scared of what his fans will do to them because of other women that have come forward against him and what Brian Callen's fans have done to the women that have come forward against him. And it's if you want to know why women don't come forward about being abused, look at people's reaction to Brian Callen's victims or to Crystalia's victims or to Bobby Lee's victim and the person who's there standing up for Bobby Lee's victim. Look at the reaction, look at the reaction to us. And, and I just know I've been sexually abused in comedy twice. I've been sexually harassed in comedy a lot. I've faced extreme emotional abuse in comedy. And for those reasons, I've had to step back from it. I've had to step back from comedy a lot. And but Bobby Lee did what he did, and he admitted it freely and gladly. And because narcissists need an audience. It's not enough for them that they got away with it. They need you to know they got away with it. And they need you there snapping your fingers and applauding them like you elite Hollywood entertainer, you, Bobby Lee. If only I were as great as you, that I could rape a child and get away with it. That's what he wants. That's that's the affirmation he wants. And that's the affirmation he got from his fans. They gave it to him. And I'm outraged. I'm so angry. I'm so angry at the abuse. I'm so angry at the abuse culture. That is just, I've been fighting against it since I started this channel. I've been fighting against it as hard as I can, but also compromising a lot and betraying women a lot while still trying to stand with women and still trying to defend women and fight with women, but if you're going to be all in with women, if you're going to be all in with them, you can't be a rape apologist. You can't work with rapists anymore. You can't work with men that have abused children. You can't work with men that have abused men or women. You can't work with abusive people. Otherwise, you're condoning their abuse. And I'm sorry, but when it comes to things like rape, there's no coming back from that. I got a comment where someone said, Bobby Lee has changed his ways, and he's not like that anymore. And it's I'm sorry, you don't get to change your ways after you rape a crying child. You don't get to change your ways after you do that. After you rape a crying child, you are a pedophile, you are a child rapist, and that is who you are, and that is your legacy. You're not a comic anymore. You're not a comedian. You're a child rapist. Bobby Lee is not a comedian. He is a child rapist. Okay? That erases everything else that he is because he raped a child. It erases everything else that he is. Okay? That's how it is. You rape a child, that defines you. Because you know why? That child being raped, that defines her. Her rape defines her now. You ruined her life. Bobby Lee ruined the life of a child. And because she's a Mexican trafficking victim, no one gives a shit. So basically, yeah, Bobby Lee bragged about raping a child, a crying child. And it was, and please look up the recordings. And you know what? And I'll add it at the end of this. I'll add one of the recordings at the end of this vlog for you to listen to it. And he is telling the truth. That's not a fabricated story. That's not a fabricated bit. That's a true bit. That's a true story. That's a true something that happened. And it's not a lie. Why would you lie about something like that? You know what? And like, you know, I mean, God willing, God, like, I honestly, like, I would be relieved to know if Bobby Lee just came out and said, I was lying, I made it up, and here's the proof, and here's the proof of me. Like, I do a lie detector test, something to make me feel better. You know what I mean? Even if Bobby Lee did do that for the people affected by his joke, by his bit, by his confession of raping a child, the people who are affected by that story and who are really upset by that story. Like, if Bobby Lee were to confirm that it's not a true story and your fears and your anxieties about the world and humanity are not founded by me, he still deserved what he got. He would have still deserved what I did to him. Even if that story wasn't true, he still would deserve it. And, you know, and so anyways, I'm just coming out against, like, Joe Rogan and his crew, all of those guys. They're all abusers, dude. It is a sex cult. Like, it's just, the Comedy Store is like a fucking sex cult. Like, it's a creepy sex cult. And there's a sex ring. And it's all of them. It's all of them. And they're a fucking sex ring. And they abuse women. And they want to get away with it. They want that to be their right as Hollywood elite men. They want that to be their right, that they can abuse women and get away with it. Joe Rogan has confessed, like, he has told a story of Brian McCallum raping a woman on his podcast to what's-his-face? To Brett Weinstein or whatever. Which, by the way, like, what the fuck? Like, Joe Rogan admits it. Brian Callen's a rapist on his own podcast. Joe Rogan knows all about these men. He knew all about these men. He didn't care because Joe Rogan's a Hollywood elite, and he and his friends are all Hollywood elites, and Hollywood elites get away with whatever they want. Right? Wrong. Not anymore. There's a new sheriff in town. So I'm going to do this. I'm just going to start getting people together, and we're going to start going to shows, and we're going to start booing these guys, and we're just going to start, you know, reminding their fans, like, what are you doing here? What the fuck are you doing here? You can't be entertained by somebody who hasn't raped someone. You can't find a comic who hasn't raped someone. Well, I mean, no, the thing is that, like, there are lots of comics who aren't abusive people, and the problem is that they just don't have the wherewithal to survive in this abusive environment because they're not abusive people. And in order to thrive in an abusive environment, it helps a lot if you're an abusive person too. So the people moving and shaking in comedy are pretty abusive people. I mean, honestly, like, a lot of the up-and-coming comics have kind of bullied me. Like, I mean, it just, you know, have not been nice to me. And I've never been able to come up in comedy, you know, as hard as I've worked and as funny as I am, because, like, I really do believe gatekeeping happens in comedy and entertainment against people who speak out against the bullshit that happens in comedy. And I don't have concrete proof of that yet, but I just hope, as, you know, you've seen on my vlogs, how funny I am. Have you not seen on these vlogs that I am funny? And that I have shit to say? And that I can't say that on stage at the Comedy Store, or I couldn't say that on stage at the Comedy Store. I wasn't getting chances. I wasn't getting opportunities. Um, whereas, like, these kind of complicit trust fund girls who have no risk of being raped or abused because they're just awarded respect because of their status, their initial capital of being born, because they have wealthy families with connections. Predators stay away from them. And not only that, the predators not only stay away from them, the predators aren't predators to these girls. These predators, like, fucking respect these girls and leave them alone and give them the respect that they do deserve, but they withhold that respect from me because I don't deserve it, I guess, because I'm a stripper or I'm poor or, I don't know, my parents didn't love me, I don't know, whatever. Or my mom didn't love me. My dad loves me, but my mom doesn't love me. I don't know. Like, that's just, like, honestly, these are just those thoughts that are coming to my head, and this is how I feel. And, yeah, I just, I don't know what to do anymore. I don't know what to do. But what Bobby Lee did was psychopathic and horrific, and he deserves to die if that story is true. And that story is true. And if that story is true, then, I mean, the fact that Bobby Lee is not being executed for that crime is just, and not only that, but, like, is being defended and is allowed to keep a career in comedy and is allowed to be lifted up in comedy the way he is, it just outrages me. It outrages me. And it's like, it's not Bobby Lee, it's his fans, it's his supporters, it's the people that don't care. It speaks everything. It speaks so much truth of the world that 1 in 3 women will be assaulted in her lifetime, starting from age 14. And there's an 80% chance that 14 to 34, she'll be sexually assaulted. There's an 80% chance that 1 in 3 women will be sexually assaulted between the ages of 14 to 34. 80% of 1 in 3 women. And despite that, despite knowing that, despite that concrete evidence of that, we still lift up rapists. We still lift up child abusers. We still lift up abusers and support them and make way for them. And the women that come forward against these men are just, the world wipes their ass with these women. Just wipes their ass with them. The way these women have been treated, and I've talked to these women, the way these women have been treated by Brian Callen's fans, by Chris D'Elia's fans, and, well, Jeff Ross's victim, like how she was treated by Jeff Ross's fan. And I didn't speak to her, I spoke to her lawyer. I'm digging in, I'm doing what I can. I just, Jesus Christ. Just Jesus Christ. These men and what they've done and what they continue to do. And these men and what they've done and what you've let them done. Or what you've let them do. Their fans. What you've let them do. What you paid for them to do. Chris D'Elia's fans paid for tickets for the girls he groomed to be flown to LA to be raped by Chris D'Elia. You know what I mean? His fans paid for those tickets. Chris D'Elia's fans paid for his greatness that attracted young girls to be raped by Chris D'Elia. You know what I mean? That's true. That's a fact. How many women, I mean, I'm sorry, and so many women, hundreds of women come forward against Chris D'Elia. Hundreds. I think over 100. And that's just the women that have come forward and have shown themselves online. Still no one listens. No one cares. Well, I mean, people do listen, people care, but still, some people are not still. And I, like, for those people, like, what is wrong with you? Like, what is wrong with you? I'm so angry at you. I'm so fucking angry at you. I'm so fucking angry at society, what they let happen to me and what they let happen to other women. And then not only do they let this shit happen to us, but they don't care when it does, and they don't let us do anything about it when it does. And I'm over it, and I'm done with it, and I'm moving on, and I'm moving forward, and this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to arrange booth squads to go to shows, to go to theaters, to go to offices, to go to studios, and protest, break down the doors, bang on the doors, scream, shout, rapist, child abuser. Don't let him work. Don't let him work. And that's what we're going to do. And that's what I'm going to work really hard to get going and to have done. Because we should all be like Jesus. anyways, well, that's my blog for today. And that's my last vlog for this channel, I think. Yeah, maybe. And anyways, thanks for listening, and thanks for letting me update what's going on. And let me talk about what happened the night of the Bobby Lee thing. Okay, so my friend Kyle called me at 7 o'clock, and he was like, Caroline, my girlfriend got sick, and I have an extra ticket to go to the Comedy Store. And I said, well, who's playing? And he said, Bobby Lee. And I was like, I'm there. And so we went, and I didn't tell him. I didn't tell Kyle. That was, Kyle's not speaking to me right now. But anyways, Kyle, I'm sorry, Kyle. Kyle, I'm sorry. Okay? Sorry, I didn't tell Kyle. Ooh, he was not happy with me. Anyways, look, I can be a little narcissistic too. I could be a little, not thinking of others too. But I honestly, like, with Kyle, I honestly thought, like, he would have been, like, thought it was funny. And, but he didn't think it was funny. Anyway, so we went, and they seated me. It all went perfectly. They seated me right next to the stage. Right next to the stairs, running up to the stage. That's where they sat me. That's where they placed me. Right there, next to the stairs, running up to the stage. Where I could run as fast as I could up to the stage. That's how I got to the stage. Some people have been asking me, how did you get on stage? And I was like, by running really fast. That's how I got to the stage, by running really, really fast. And, anyways, so I was like, dude, it was like God himself shined the light down on that night. And then across the street, in the hotel across the street from the Comedy Store, there was these people fucking. And it was like, and they were fucking in doggy style. And it was just like how Bobby Lee raped his victim. And I was like, oh my God, it's a sign from God that I was meant to be here. It was all a sign. It was all a sign from God, most of it. Anyways, so I made that decision. I was like, I'm going to go to the Comedy Store. I'm going to throw a fucking fit. I'm going to throw a fucking tantrum. I'm going to make a fucking scene. I'm going to scream. Everyone at the Comedy Store that night is going to hear my voice and is going to hear me say, Bobby Lee's a rapist. Bobby Lee raped a child. I made that decision at 7 o'clock that night. And at 9:30 that night, I went to the show. Bobby Lee came up, and I waited for him to get started. And then I shouted, Bobby Lee! And he said, shut up, bitch! And I said, no. And I said, you raped a little girl! And then he was like, and then I ran up the stage, and I was like, you ran with my phone, and I was like, you raped a little girl! And then he was just like, what? No, I didn't. What are you talking about? Like, he acted like he had no idea what I was talking about. Okay, no. Oh, that's how you're gonna play it? You're going to act like you have no idea what I'm talking about. Sure. You know what the thing is? If I told a story 4 times about how I raped a little girl, I would probably know, when somebody referenced that, I would probably be like, oh, no, that was totally made up. That was totally a lie. It was a dumb joke. I'm sorry. No, he was like, I didn't. And then after I left, after I was escorted out, like, he said that the girl was 16. Like, that was even better. He said, oh, I actually raped a 16-year-old trafficking victim. She wasn't 11. She wasn't 12. Like he initially described her in the stories. He said that she looked like Natalie Portman in The Professional, and Natalie Portman turned 12 on the set of The Professional. So that girl was 11 or 12 years old, according to Bobby Lee in the story. And, Jesus Christ, that story just haunts me, and it makes me so angry. It makes me angry now. And I'm going to protest more Bobby Lee shows. I'm going to go to more Bobby Lee shows. I'm going to ruin more of the shows. I'm going to do it. I'm going to fucking do it. And, anyways, and I encourage you to do it too. Go to Bobby Lee's show and ruin it. Don't go to shows. Don't go to like one of his arena shows where it's like him headlining. Go to like one of the lineup shows. You know what I mean? Ruin it for everyone. Ruin it for everybody that's there. Ruin it for the comics too. You know what I mean? Anyways, I have it all planned. I have it all planned out. I know exactly what we need to do. I know exactly how to play it. And, but anyways, yeah, I went outside, stood 6 feet away from the Comedy Store, from the property, And then I just started screaming at everyone like, I'm a Bobby Lee, fucking Bobby Lee, and whatever. And then Bobby Lee came out to talk to me, and it was just like, dude, I think you're a pedophile. You can't just come out and talk to me. Like, what? And he was like, can I talk to you? I was like, no, you haven't fucking face. You're a pedophile. Like, get out of here. Then you can't talk to me. You're a pedophile. Get out of here. Like, what? And then he was like, and I was like, you raped a child. And he was like, well, what was her name? Bobby Lee didn't learn this little girl's name. She was a trafficking victim. Trafficking victims don't have names. They're a statistic. And Bobby Lee knows this. Okay? Just because that little girl doesn't have a name doesn't mean that wasn't a little girl. Bobby Lee. And then Jeremiah Watkins was there. And I know Jeremiah a little bit. And he was there and he was like kind of laughing. I'm like, what is this girl doing? And I was like, Jeremiah Watkins, you're a Christian. You're a Christian, Jeremiah Watkins. What do you think about him raping a little girl? What do you think about that? And then he stopped laughing. Shut him up. Stop laughing. And then Jesus Trejo was there, and he was like doing the same thing, like kind of like laughing and scoffing at me. I'm like, what is this girl's deal? And I was like, Jesus Trejo, you're Mexican. How do you feel about Bobby Lee raping a little Mexican girl? How do you feel about that? And he shut up. Shut up. I shut him up. So that's what happened. And I threw a fit. TMZ showed up. Again, God, like TMZ showed up and they were like, what's going on? And I was like, let's go over and talk to Bobby Lee. And we were like, I went over to Bobby Lee. I was like, Bobby Lee, look, TMZ is here. And I started taunting Bobby Lee with TMZ. I was like, and then TMZ was filming him and stuff. And then TMZ told me that, like, they couldn't fucking, I don't know, like, post anything on it because it's already been out there and stuff. It's not a new story. So TMZ wasn't going to post it. So it's just kind of sad. And then this guy came out and started harassing me. He was like, hey, I'm from the Philadelphia Journal. What the fuck are you doing? Like, why did you do that? And he was like being really antagonistic. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I don't talk to small time reporters like you, even though I don't even think you as a reporter. And I don't know. Yeah, what else happened? I don't know. It was just like, it was whatever. It was okay. And it was exhilarating. And the adrenaline rush was really great. And I love adrenaline. I love adrenaline rushes. So yeah, I think I found my niche. Anyways, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep doing this. I'm going to keep protesting these guys. You know, I just, because as long as men like that are on top, like women like me are going to be at the bottom, you know? And that's how it is. And I don't want to be at the bottom. I want to be at the top too. And if those men aren't going to make room for me or make room for women like me, then they need to go. They got to go, don't they? And one of the ways they don't make room for women like me is they rape us. They rape women like me. They abuse women like me. They bully women like me. So we're forced out and we're forced to be strippers for the rest of our lives. And that's wrong. And that's not okay. I'm not letting that happen. You're not going to do that to me. You're not doing that to me. You know? Joe Rogan, you're not going to do that to me. But yeah, that's how I feel. And that's what I think. And yeah. So anyways, that's my blog for today. I'm going to use what little editing skills I have to attach the Bobby Lee confession at the end of this video. So enjoy that. If you can finish listening to it, I couldn't. Okay. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Bye.
Okay, let's move on.
Yeah,
let's move on. Thank you so much.
The only thing you can do is make your career better.
Nice pep talk.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much. You're my pillar and my strength. And okay, so anyway, I went down by myself, and the Adelita was packed with Marines, right? So I go, you know what? There's too many people. Especially you don't want to, like, when they come down from the stairs, you want to grab them then.
Sloppy seconds.
Yeah, I don't want that.
Sloppy,
yeah.
Gross,
sloppy
right?
You don't want to know about.
Right, so there's a street in back of Adelita, and we used to call it Hooker Alley, right? Okay. And Hooker Alley had the really ugly ones that couldn't go in.
Nice.
And they had girls that we didn't know what their ages were.
Right.
Right.
Okay. Now, I don't know what the ages were. I just said that.
Do you ever really know the age of a hooker?
Yeah.
I'm going to repeat that. I don't know.
Well, okay. Even at the hooker whorehouse, you don't know. Like
exactly. Exactly.
So in Tijuana.
Yeah, you never know. Ever.
Yeah.
The most high-priced escort, do you really know her age?
And I also want to say this just to justify my actions. I was young, and I never got girls.
Sarah,
ever.
how old were you? Sarah, how old are you?
Oh, 19.
What year were you born?
94.
All right.
Yeah, that was right when then happened, when she was born. Okay, so I never got girls at all. Not even one. Not even one. Okay,
Right.
I only started getting girls when I did stand-up comedy. Okay, so here's what it is. So anyway, I go to Hooker Alley, and then when you go walk down, they grab you, right?
They're very aggressive.
Mister, right? They grab you, Mister, right? And you go, I'm an American, don't touch me. You know what I mean? That's what I used to do. I'm an American, right?
Do they call you Chino and
Yeah,
stuff?
Chino, you know what I mean? Like, Mister, and I go, don't touch me. And at the end of the thing, there was this girl, and she had her face toward the brick wall. She wasn't even facing out.
Oh my God, I know. where
And
this
that's
is
when I
going.
knew. That's when I knew she was the one. Right?
She was like the fawns, just
Yeah. She was like kind of league,
She's
right?
like-
And I look, and she looked like Natalie Portman.
What?
Yeah, but like in the professional. Not that young, but you know.
She looked like she's like 50.
I don't know. I don't know how.
Let's not put a number on it.
Let's not put a number.
Let's not put a number on
I don't
it.
know the number, and you know what, God, I didn't know the number, and you know that for a fact, God. Okay.
She looked very young.
She looked
So
And you were very young.
I was very young too, yeah.
Yeah.
And I go, hey, you know, and she goes, you want to, you know, boom, boom, whatever. I go, yeah. So there's this place called the Miami Hotel at the end.
Nice.
Right? And it's
This
like,
place just sounds so classy.
it's straight out of the movie Seven.
So wait, you took her from Hooker Alley to the Miami.
Miami
Right.
Hotel, yeah. Sticky floors. They had all those fly traps, the yellow sticky things that stick out. There were so many flies, right? And it was like thick. It was like a thick place,
Right.
You know what I mean? It smelled
The
like
energy
a
in the
Cambodian
air.
jungle, like the killing fields. It smelled like the killing fields,
Like
right?
years of cum just built
Oh
up.
yeah, and sadness,
Yeah,
and
years
fear,
of
and fear,
Yeah,
yeah.
like just soaked in fear tears.
yeah. So I take her up to the room,
Rape.
and that's what you give them $10, and
It
they
just
give,
smelled like rape.
yeah, and they and they give you a towel, and in the towel is a condom and lube.
Okay.
Right? Which is nice for
Yeah.
$10.
That is really
Nice
good.
little package.
Yeah, nice little package. We go upstairs.
You get to keep the towel?
No. I know you don't want to keep it. Right? There's stains on it. Discharge stains.
It still smells like cum after they clean it.
Yeah. So we get naked. I turn the lights off, right? And we're in bed now. And I put the condom on. And she's really cold, you know? I feel so bad saying this story.
Girls are always cold.
And so I stick it in. It's very tight, right? And then the moon is shining through
Did you
a
use
little
the lube?
crack. No. The moon is shining through the window in a little crack,
Okay.
right?
Very romantic.
Yeah, it's very romantic. yeah. And then her head turns, and the moon, I see her face.
Yeah.
And you can see tears coming down her face and snot bubbles. And she's shaking. Okay? Why are you smiling, dude?
It's
Fucking rude, bro.
It's his
That
sister.
could have been your sister.
It's
dude.
his sister.
Yeah. Right? And so I did what anyone else would do. I power fucked her. Right? Just so I can get it over with. Right?
Wait, so it was probably her first.
I don't know. I don't want to get into it. All right? I don't know.
No, let's get into it.
Dear Lord, I don't know what happened.
She was
okay?
standing against the wall like this.
Yeah. Yeah, like that, yeah.
And then she turned around.
Yeah, maybe she was showing off her ass. Like, this is good shit.
She was crying and snot.
Maybe
bubbles.
she wasn't even a hooker. Maybe she was like waiting for her mom.
She had night school.
Maybe she'd never seen an Asian before.
She's
Maybe she'd never seen an Asian before.
Oh, my agents are calling me right
No,
now.
no.
They know.
No, Critter, take his phone away
Okay,
from him.
they know.
okay.
So you're
You
like,
power fucked
so you're
her?
like, I need to get this over with quick. I don't want to see her cry, and you jackhammered her.
Okay, I'm sweating right now. Listen to me. Can I just say this, though, just to reiterate, right?
Right.
Where I am in life.
Yeah.
Okay? And number one, it's not like I feel good about it. I
No,
don't feel
we
good
can
about the
tell.
situation.
Yeah.
You know, I don't feel good about it. And you know what? In part 2 of the story, if you listen on, God gets his revenge.
On who? On you?
me. God, there's the God's revenge. That's why the second story needs to
Did you
happen.
get raped?
No, something crazier.
Whoa, I don't.
What?
Yeah. So,
Usually, when people talk about punishment, it's like rape, and then they're like rape or murder.
Yeah.
no,
So if
mine
it's-
was like,
And you're alive, so
yeah, it's crazy.
The
Okay.
Marines got you.
They saved me, actually.
Oh,
Yeah, they're a part of it.
Oh, so it was like immediate.
Can I just finish the story? So you don't want to talk about Godfather 2. Godfather 1's not done yet.
So she looks about 15, and you're
No, she's about 18 years old, okay, guys? Anyway.
she's 18.
I don't know how old she is, okay, guys?
She's 18, and she looks 15, and you're 22,
Dick,
and your
let
dick
him
looks
keep-
15.
Yeah.
Keep going. This is gonna get good.
So I power fuck her, right? And then I just don't even say goodbye. I just put my clothes back down. I already paid her.
You ran out of there.
And ran out of there. And
How much?
$60
Nice.
at that time. So 2 weeks later, on a Wednesday, the same thing happened. They go, hey, you want to go to the Tijuana?
Wait, we're still in part 1 right now?
No,
Or-
part 1's over.
Oh, we're going to part 2.
Part 2's done, yeah.
Hey, awesome.
All right, part 2 now.
No
okay?
cliffhanger.
No
Going right into
Yeah,
part 2.
Yeah.
Juggernaut story.
Right, so part 2 is this. The guys at work are, hey, we're going to go to Tijuana. I go, I'm not going to go. Right? And they go, all right, well, I guess we're not going to go either. Okay, yeah, all right, I think it's wrong. They go, okay.
Wait, you were like the leader. They would only go if you went?
Yeah.
Oh.
So I go, okay. But I actually wanted to go by myself. I wanted to go myself to find her again. Natalie Portman. Right? I have my hunt for Natalie
Circle
Portman.
the professional.
Right?
You couldn't stop thinking about her.
Yeah, I
the whole
couldn't
week.
stop thinking about her. So I go to Hooker Alley, and there's no one there. There was a raid.
Oh.
Okay? There was some sort of weird raid.